my name is Judy and I'm the City Stitcher, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. Today is Sunday, November the 28th. It is the first Sunday of Advent. It is the last Sunday of November. It is the Sunday after American Thanksgiving and the first Sunday after Black Friday and immediately preceding Cyber Monday. So I hope all of that's worked out well for you. We'll talk about that in just a bit, but this is a channel about cross-stitching and the stitching that I've done this week. So if you are a new viewer, thank you for stopping by and spending some time with me. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. So it's been a mostly pleasant day today. I was really hoping that it was going to be super sunny. The temperatures are above average, which I'm enjoying. But I was hoping it was going to be really sunny today, because then this room would be probably about 25-26 degrees Celsius, and that didn't quite pan out. But I'm still in here and we're fine, and all of that's good. I think this is going to be a shorter video than some of the other ones, but check back at the end. Only time will tell whether that's an accurate assessment or not. And I will say the topic for this week is actually going to be part of my stitching discussion. It's not going to wait till the very end like we normally do, just because it's about the piece that I have been stitching on this week. And with that, let's dive right into it, because I feel like the stitching, it hasn't been an uberly fantastic stitching week, but it hasn't been a really bad one. So let's talk about it. I've got the picture here, so we'll briefly talk about this. The Temperature Tree by the Stitchin' Mommy. And I know I had a task that I set for myself this week, and I failed miserably at it, because apparently there's another batch of cocoa bean at my LNS. So this is my final try. I really promise we will have a decision by the beginning of December. So nothing happened. I haven't unstitched. It would truly be frogging at that point on the tree, and I haven't added anything to it. So it's still wavering. I know. Welcome to the land of total indecision. All right. So what did I really stitch on this week? Well, my November focus piece, Remember November by Marnic Designs. And it's funny because I have moments where as you're stitching over the course of a week, where you go like, I'm not getting a lot accomplished. I'm not getting a lot accomplished. And then you get to the end of the week and you go like, no, I've made some progress, and that's good to see. So where am I at on my stitching at this point in time? So here's where we're at right now. So I was successful in that what I set out last week, sort of on Sunday night, I was supposed to work on getting all of the vines down here stitched, which I got that accomplished. I came up, I did more of the vines up here. There's a little bit more to go over here. And true to form, that's my goal for tonight, is to finish the vines up here. So I did have a question on last week's video about what I was going to do. So this center here, which is very hard for you to tell, but I'll hold it on a little bit of an angle so you can see French knots. So that all of this center here is French knots, as is this one. And whether or not I was going to wait to do that until the end, or what I was going to do. And so true to form, I did these differently. So I actually did the French knots and then came in to do the back stitching around this one, and decided that was probably not so good just because of how the French knots lie here. And so I smartened up on round 2, and I did the back stitching that would come in around here. There's technically a little more back stitching just to do around the top of that particular flower. But I did the back stitching that would come here so that I could finish filling this in. And it took one length. So this is a combination of 2 strands of Gentle Arts. I I think it's black raspberry jam, and 1 strand of DMC 4240. And again, like, I don't know that you're ever going to be able to really see this on camera, but when you look at it up close, like even from a distance in person, like you can't really see the shading. You'd really have to look at it up close. But the effect, I like how the effect of this looks. I have to admit, when I was putting the 3 strands on, because I will say this is the first time that I've actually done French knots with 3 strands. Normally I do them with 2 strands, but it worked out okay. It was fine. So yeah, so I got the back stitching down here. So this flower is complete. This flower, this part is complete. Like I say, there's a little more back stitching here. This one is ready for its back stitching. Believe it or not, this little bit up here, I have 4 colors left to go to finish that part off before I can do back stitching. So again, because there are so many blended threads in this, I will pick a color and I will start up here and finish that color in this bits, and then I will come down here and I will continue filling in this one. So it's coming along. I don't know that this is going to be a finish this month, which I was really hoping this was going to be a finish. I was actually really hoping it was going to be finished before we hit the end of the month, but that's not how my stitching month turned out, and that's just how life works sometimes. So let's talk about the blended threads here. So the vine, just for clarity, in case this is your first time watching, the vines here are not a blended thread. This is, I was going to say Caron Waterlilies, which it is absolutely not. This is Thread Gatherer Silken Colors Alpine Grasses is what the vine is. That's not the called for. The leaves all through here around the flowers, those are just 3 different colors of DMC, but they're solid wherever they're called for. The blended threads are entirely used in, I was going to say, virtually almost all of the colors used here in the flower are a combination of blended threads, meaning 1 strand of 1 color of DMC combined with another strand of DMC. And I know when I talked about this originally, I was kind of going, I think she used the blended threads, you know, maybe because she couldn't quite find the color tonally that she was looking for in some of the overdyes, or even within the DMC range, or, you know, I made up stuff. And it's not like I asked her. But I have to say, the more that I have worked with them, it's caught me by surprise that I'm really liking the effect of the blended threads. Now again, when you hold it back here, you would never be able to tell that there are blended threads. But in real life, and again, I think part of this has to do with, you know, whenever you're doing anything on camera. I'm going to hold it up crazily close to see. Yeah. Again, it's going to be very hard to tell, you know, where the blended threads are. But even from, like, so if I'm looking at it from here in real life with a distance of that, I can see the effect that it's having, because you really do have a combination of those 2 different shades. And you know, I've done things with blended threads where at the end of the day, it effectively ends up looking like a heathered look. But for some reason, the combination of the blends in this particular one are, it's giving it an interesting effect that you can see in real life. And I'm really sorry that you can't see it on camera. But it has been interesting. You know, like I say, I started off and I went, I'm assuming she just did this because she couldn't find, you know, the color that she was looking for. And the more that I've worked with these blended threads, I'm actually taking the position where I'm going, no, I think she actually did it for a reason, because it is actually giving it a slightly different effect than if you found the solid color of what you were trying to do here. So I'm really, you know, this far into it, I'm really enjoying the effect that it has. I don't mind working with a blended thread. You know, it's not, it's a little less efficient than using a loop method to start, but not that much more inefficient. I will say the thing that is slowing me down is, you know, like I say, this poor little section up at the top of this little bit left here, along with this, the part over here. I've got 4 more colors to put in there to get that, to get those completed so that I can do the back stitching. Anyway, so it's been an interesting journey. It's been a long time since I've had to do a blended thread, generally, you know, as opposed to the Never Ending Nativity where it was blending Kreinik, a blending filament with a DMC. It's been quite a while since I've done this kind of blended threads, and I'm really enjoying the effect that it's, like I say, I'm surprised at how much of the effect I can see in person when I'm looking at this. So I'm enjoying that. Second of all, so the other part of this topic is the back stitching, and I know that there are lots of people out there who don't enjoy back stitching, and you know, will look at patterns and sort of go, if there's a lot of back stitching, I'm not doing them because I don't enjoy the back stitching. Hey, you do you. Like I say, there are lots of people, when I was talking about Stony Creek, where lots of people go like, too many colors, too much back stitching, not doing it. I don't mind the back stitching, and I find the back stitching goes relatively efficiently. And I like the effect. I think it would have been very hard to accomplish. I'm going to focus on this one in particular because it's complete. The level of definition that comes, you know, both down here in the leaves as well as up here in the flower. I think it would have been very hard to get that little bit of back stitching that you can see. Remember last week when we were talking about fractional stitches, and I said you could see that little bit of a line coming down here, which has now been covered up by the back stitching. You know, so when you hold it back here, you know, you get a little bit more definition around here towards the outside, this little bit here. I think the back stitching brings a lot to these types of designs. And, you know, I was watching somebody else at some point over the last couple of weeks where they weren't necessarily happy with how something was looking against the fabric that they had. And, you know, one of the suggestions was, well, why don't you just backstitch around that part? And they were struggling with going, but if I backstitch that, will it look weird compared to everything else where it's not backstitched? And it might have really highlighted where that backstitching was and drawn more attention to it than if everything had been backstitched. And so I think they were correct saying, like, I don't want to just do a little bit of backstitching. If I'm backstitching, I'm probably going to have to do a lot of backstitching to make it look consistent, which I would agree with. But you know, again, it's one of those things. So I actually did the backstitching on this one evening, and, you know, it's one of those things where you're working on it and you're like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And when I came back the following day and sat down and got ready to stitch again, I looked at it and I went, I really love how this looks. I love how this looks. And as I was pulling the few things that I have to show you today together, it was really interesting looking at it, saying like, it's coming together. It's coming together. I can't wait. So by next week, for sure, these will be finished and backstitched. Hopefully I will have made a huge amount of progress on here. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know that I'm necessarily gonna get it. Okay, so the answer is, I don't know that I'm necessarily gonna get it finished in November. And depending on how good my stitching is over the next, because I still have my Sunday stitching to do, as well as Monday and Tuesday. So there is a possibility I could drag myself and carry this over into the first bit of December, just to get it finished off. It depends on how well I do. So really what's happening on the other side of the pattern over here is, so this is actually a button, which that's up for debate whether it's going to be that button or something else. But it really is just a repeat of this particular motif over here, and that gets repeated as well. Having a little debate, going, nah, that's too far. Anyway, so I've got, I actually do have this button, even though it is a red heart, and I'm not usually a heart person. I do have this. I actually do have another charm that I have that I have contemplated putting on there, but we'll talk about that next week. But yes, it's coming along. Say yes, I think I'm just trying to decide what I'm hoping the screenshot's going to be. So I think we're going to turn it into this. It's coming along. Like I say, I wish I had gotten it done earlier this month with a little bit more stitching, but that's just how life works. But I'm happy with the blended threads, happy with the effect that it's producing, and happy with the backstitching. Again, I am not one of those people that backstitching bothers me, and like I say, the definition that you get on these flowers when you've got the backstitching, I think makes all the difference in terms of how they look. There are some patterns where I think you can get the same look without the backstitching, but the way you do that is by making it bigger so that you get more of that definition. And I'm glad, I don't want this to be any bigger than it is. The other thing I was going to add with respect to that question about the French knots, one of the reasons why I'm not holding off and being really particular about the French knots is because this entire design fits within my Q-snap. So if for some reason I had to put it on a smaller Q-snap or something like that, that might have influenced my decision, but because the whole thing fits very nicely within the center of my Q-snap, yep, I'm finishing everything. Like I say, hopefully fairly quickly that these will all get completed, and as these get completed, these will drag down over to here, so we'll see how we do. Check back next week, see how efficient I've become, see whether I've dragged it into December. There's a possibility. Depends. Check back. Okay. Let's talk about Stashquisitions, because it has been Black Friday. Cyber Mondays are coming. I hope that you have been paying attention. Well, I talked about this a number of weeks ago that I had been doing some Black Friday preparations, and I've mostly paid attention to that Black Friday preparations. So I haven't gone thoroughly overboard. 123stitch.com is having a big sale, and I certainly went on there on Black Friday, and I went through hordes of things, and as I said to a friend of mine, I was really good. I put lots of things into my cart, and then I moved them onto the wish list, and then I moved them back into the cart, and then I moved them back into the wish list, and some of them I left in the cart, and some of them I left on the wish list, and I have not checked out. So pros and cons. Pros, there are things on the wish list, there are things in the cart. I am choosing at this point in time not to hit buy on those ones, but it's not like I refrained. And again, by the time this comes up, so yes, I got distracted by a couple of things today while I was trying to clear some stuff out, which is why this is going to get uploaded a little later than you probably are expecting. Fat Quarter Shop was having a Black Friday sale, which I took advantage of, and only picked up a couple of charts. These are charts that I have been looking at for months, and as I said to a friend of mine, she had 3 charts in particular that she was looking to purchase, and I said to her, if you aren't planning on starting to stitch them immediately and we don't have a fire under us, wait till Black Friday, because I'm pretty sure that those charts are going to go on sale on the Black Friday sale. And they did. So I was a very good friend, and I phoned her and said, your charts are on sale. Did you notice? And she said, no, I went on and looked and they weren't on sale. I'm like, well, I just was on Instagram and they put a post up, so your chart should be on sale now. So I think she's now acquired those. But these ones, these are Stitching with the Housewives charts that I have bought as PDFs from Fat Quarter Shop for the pure reason that I don't want to pay for shipping for a paper pattern. So since I can get them as a PDF and I can get them on sale, that's how I got them. So this is the November calendar crates. Surprisingly, I love this one. Let's get my face out of there. So this is really the front of, I've downloaded the chart and I've printed it off. I'm saying I'm moving my head off, but as I always remind myself when I watch the video later, what I can see on the screen and what actually shows up are two different things. So I should stop doing that because it's not going to make any difference. So I surprisingly love this. It comes with both this top piece and the Thankful and Blessed piece. And then the second one I got was, this is their Silent Night. Now, I'm probably going to adjust the barn. I'm probably going to make it so that it looks more like another house as opposed to a barn. That's me. So, I'm not into the farm animals. So the chickens are going to go, yeah. So there's, when I start to stitch this one, which I don't know exactly when that's going to be, there will be some adjustments to this. And it was interesting because I did watch Priscilla and Chelsea from their Flosstube this weekend, and they said in their Facebook group, they've had some people where all they've stitched is just this top part of, I want to say just the Silent Night on a variety of different colored backgrounds. So it's also on my to-do list is to go into the Facebook group and go have a look at that and see how those look. So I got those. Okay, so Shannon Christine had a sale on as well, and I just couldn't help myself. And I feel like anyway, so I got Falling Snow. I couldn't help myself. She has another Christmassy chart that also has a big Christmas tree, and it's very, very similar to this. The top border is the same, the deer is the same, the trees are the same, so there's a lot of similarities. I just can't help myself. I love this. I love both of them. So I got this one. The interesting thing about this is they say that if you want to stitch it like this, that her recommended fabric for this background is Calypso from Picture This Plus, which if you go back a number of videos, you go, I bought a piece of Calypso, it's too small for this. Because remember that video where I said I bought a wide eighth because that's what they had, whereas normally I buy a fat quarter. This one needs a fat quarter. Anyway, I do need to do a little bit of a stash dive and see if I've got something that would work for this. Again, I don't know exactly when this is going to get started, but I love how this looks. Couldn't help it. Bought it anyway. Yeah, it's like I thought I'd got these in an order. And because I can't help myself with a snowflake, I bought so this is their Christmas snowflake. I think about, because I've shown all those Just Nan snowflakes that I have, it'd be interesting to see. I'd have to decide what my background color is going to be. There's a part of me that likes it if I did it on the charcoal background. I'd have to think about it though. Check back later on that one. And the one which doesn't look like the others is Hello Summer. And this is one that I've been looking at for quite some time, and my answer is Shannon Christine is one of those designers where I go, generally there is a Black Friday sale, and so I tend to hold off on purchasing these charts because I expect that there is going to be a sale. Now, there are a couple of other ones. I was doing some Etsy shopping, but I haven't downloaded those ones. We'll talk about those next week. The other thing that I did shop for, and I did not get it on sale, It's something that I've been looking at for a while. And while I was waiting for Black Friday to come along to see if there would be a sale on this particular item, it was in there and I was like, and it's out of stock. So it doesn't matter what happens. And while I was doing my Black Friday, you know, shopping and perusing sites and all that kind of stuff, I went back onto this site again and it was back in stock. They had one of this particular kit that I want. And I just went, forget it. You really, really want it, order it, get it now. Because you all know I'm not usually a kit person. Usually for several reasons. One, usually it's coming with a fabric where I want to change it. Two, usually because the colors in it I want to change. And so I hate buying fabric that I know that I'm not going to use and thread that I know are not going to be the colors that I want. And so that's why I generally struggle with kits. But this kit actually comes with a 32 count Lugana in a color that I like. Anyway, so all of that was good. It came back in stock. I've now ordered it. It will get shipped to me. Who knows, with all of the things that are going on with the postal systems, it's coming from overseas. And as we all know, it's not like I don't have anything to stitch. As we all know, all of my December is already planned out, so it's totally fine. I'm technically calling that kit is my birthday present to myself. So when it arrives, we'll talk about it, but that's my other one. All right. Let's talk about free charts. So one of the benefits to following designers you like is that if you're paying attention to their social media, and again, I am not the person that is the epitome of how to do this really efficiently and effectively, but there have been a couple of designers who put up some freebies over the course of this Thanksgiving weekend. They were really only up for a day, so I'm not going to rattle off who they are because even now, while I'm filming this, they're no longer available. In fact, I actually went on to one of them and said, I wonder if they actually did take it down, and they've taken it down. Anyway, so it pays to follow designers you like because you just never know what deals you're going to get, coupon codes, freebies, all that kind of stuff. That's one of the big benefits to following designers, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram. So I have gotten a couple of those. Again, I'm not going to show you them because you can't get them. As far as I know, like I said, I only checked one of the two that I downloaded, but for sure that one is, you can't get it anymore. So I figured that would be mean to show you. So I'm going to show you a freebie that isn't a relatively new one that's come up that is still free. So this is from Whilst Iris Naps. This is her, I'm calling it her winter freebie, Let It Snow. And again, right, I have a thing with snowflakes. I don't necessarily like being cold, but I have a thing about snowflakes. So this is Let It Snow from Whilst Iris Naps. I will put the link to her site where you can, so you just go to her site and you can download it straight from there. If Whilst Iris Naps is new to you, she also did a free chart last year, which is still free. It's called All Is Calm. I will put the link to that as well. It'll either be a link to her freebie page or there will be two separate links, one to Let It Snow and one to All Is Calm. She finished the All Is Calm one as a drum. But this is new this year, so my thanks. I was going to say, what is her name? Because I know it is not. Whilst Iris Naps is Iris is her daughter. So that's why it's called Whilst Iris Naps. It's because this is what she did while her daughter was napping. I wish I could remember her first name. But anyway, my thanks to Whilst Iris Naps for her generosity in providing this freebie, as well as the one that she did last year, because I like that one too. And I just had a moment going, I don't know. Can you sense a theme going on? I can sense a theme. Anyway. All right. So that's my freebie for this week. Yes, this is going to be one of my shorter videos. I'm watching it saying, this is just how it's going to go. So let's talk about plans. So my plan for this week, well, my plan for the next few days is to see how far I can get on that Remember November. Check back next week to see whether I carry it over into December. When we get to the 1st of December, I am starting a new focus piece. So you'll see that next week. So Wednesday night, I will be putting in my first stitches on that, and I'm looking forward to that one as well. We'll have a good chat about that one. The new thing that has occurred to me this week, which I've made a decision, so my birthday is in December, and so I have decided that I'm going to have a birthday start. I say this now, so I am planning on starting it on my birthday. I'm planning on that's what I'm going to work on that day, not necessarily my December focus piece. But then how much I work on it for the rest of the month, that's up for debate. I have a couple of plans in my head as to how that could work out. And I'm not completely certain about how that's going to work. So that is new. I have the chart for it. I have the fabric for it. I have to get the floss pulled together, but it's largely DMC floss. So I have no concerns about not being able to get it pulled together. I just need to get it pulled together. My December focus piece fabric is cut, serged, ready to go. All of that's ready to go. So for my birthday start, I need to get it into a project bag. I need to get my fabric cut and serged for that. And I need to pull my DMC package together for that as well. So that's what I'm going to work on for this next little bit. I know last week when we were talking about the 2022 sampler stitches sale that I said that I was going to post on Instagram, and I did not post on Instagram because I was hoping over the course of last week that I was going to make some final decisions about the yellows, and I have not made the decisions about the yellows. So I've decided I'm just going to post a picture, hopefully in the next couple of days, that shows the colors that I have. And it's, you know, it's not going to make any sense to lots of people because they're going to, this doesn't look like it's going to align very well. Because I'm still going to show all of those extra grays because I haven't made decisions, and it's not going to have any yellows because I don't have any decisions on those either. So we'll see how that goes. But yes, so I am going to post that onto Instagram. So in case any of you were wanting, I just had a moment going, no, I did put the list. I put the list in last week's notes. If you were looking for the Soie d'Alger colors that I was planning on using, that list is in last week's notes. I have not cut the fabric for that, so that's also going to be part of my... So over the course of this next couple of weeks, I have several pieces of fabric that I need to get cut and serged ready for either my new birthday start that I'm adding to the plan, as well as my two January 1st New Year new starts. There's going to be two of them now because we're going to have to start the sampler stitches as well as my my original plan New Year new start. So we have to get... I'm still feeling pretty good about my 2022 stitching plan. It's had a couple of changes and iterations and stuff like that, but it's holding together. So I will say that as we get into the back half of December, I will be doing one of the topics in the back half of December is going to be a more fulsome sort of, I won't show you all the things I'm planning on starting to stitch, but I will be talking about my planning, how everything's looking, how I'm storing it, what I'm doing with my carryover pieces, how those are fitting into the plan. And how I manage the organization for both the new ones as well as the ones that are being carried forward from this year. So that will be happening, because I was going to say towards the back half. So let's say 3 weeks, two or 3 weeks from now. I've got to go back and look at the schedule about when that's coming in. I will, as far as I know, my plan in December is still to be posting videos on Sundays. As Christmas Day is happening on Saturday, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still good on Sunday. So that particular day, I am planning, the topic for that particular video is going to be my whip parade. Well, I'm really planning on calling it a year in review. I know we won't have finished all of the stitching for the year, but it will be close enough. So, and really a year in review, and it's going to talk about the lessons that I've learned this year, how they play into why I'm doing things differently in 2022. So that'll give you a hint on that one. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. For those of you who really enjoy really long videos, sorry, this is a shorter one, and it's coming up later than you would probably like because I got caught up in some stuff. Yes, it was checking some, Black Friday sales before they were ending and captured a few things. But anyway, with that, we're going to wrap it up. Yeah, so we can all get back to some other stitching and other things that we have to get accomplished today. So I hope you all have had a good week. I hope you are staying safe. I hope you are staying healthy. And I hope that you are finding some time to do some stitching. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, guys.